You can go ahead.
Thank you, Keely. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the final public safety meeting for 2020, a year that we will never forget. I'd like to start by accepting a motion to approve the minutes from November 18th. Do I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We'll go to the minutes are approved. We'll go down to Captain Martin. Do you have a report?
Okay, been fairly quiet. I was gone for 2 weeks, but I stayed abreast of things. And Lieutenant Brokaw told me it was quiet the 2 weeks I was gone. Sheriff Office continues its COVID protocol, wearing the mask, of course, and daily temp checks.
Have you had any cases of COVID? Hello?
Looks like his video stopped.
I guess 3 days later, that rear-ended, and his car is still out. He was out for a couple of weeks, but he was back.
Chief Martin, could you repeat that because you were muted for some reason?
You weren't muted, Captain Martin. Your computer froze up.
Okay, all right. Okay, Sheriff's Office continues with COVID protocol. We're wearing our masks and daily temp checks before reporting for duty. So we're continuing with that aspect of the COVID, response. As you were aware, I reported last month that Deputy Johnson and Deputy Corey were both in accidents with their Tahoes. Deputy the Tahoe's been repaired, so he's back on duty on the island with that Tahoe. Deputy Corey was out for a couple of weeks due to back injuries. He's back to duty. However, his Tahoe's still out for repairs. With the holidays and everything, I've instructed deputies to be out on foot more in Freshfields because the shops, I believe, are staying open a little bit later, and just to be seen up there in those areas with seasonal traffic and everything. Other than that, we're continuing our routine patrols. I believe the off-duty assignment that they worked for Tony with the paving, I think that's been completed and that was successful. So other than that, the Sheriff's Office has been quiet for us. We'll continue and do what we need to be doing and respond when we need to respond. Any questions from anyone?
No, that's great. And I know I believe it was in town notes, we reminded residents to keep their doors locked and to secure their cars also as a safety, especially at this time of the year.
Yeah,
have you had anyone go to the training yet? Oh,
for the bikes?
Yes.
No, we're still working on that. We got it. I have Lieutenant Rowalski working on that. We got to get that set up. I've been pushing it pretty much every day, and we got to wait for Aviation Authority. They're the ones that are going to loan us some bikes and get our deputies into that training. But I'm pushing it. The guys are real anxious to go to the training, so I'm staying on top of that. But unfortunately, it is what it is for now. But hopefully by spring, I'll have them certified and ready to rock and roll with their new bikes.
Right. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Moving on to Chief Walls. Is that Captain Stanley?
Yeah, we got Chief Stanley, Chief Kunitzer, myself in the room.
Okay.
So for us, things have been relatively quiet also. We've had about a handful of COVID positives from our firefighters and staff since we last met. Luckily, all have recovered basically with minimal side effects. Station 4 is moving along great. We had a meeting up there, was it last week? Last week. They are a little even ahead of schedule. Bill can fill you in a little bit more, but I'm very, very impressed with the professionalism and the just the work that's being performed at Station 4, so I'm happy about that. We're still maintaining closed stations as much as possible, not open to the public to limit the exposure of our personnel, obviously. I believe later today we have a meeting, actually maybe it might be in a half hour, that South Carolina DHEC will update us on what their protocol will be for vaccines when they arrive here in South Carolina. You know, who's in line, who's in order. Currently, we haven't been made aware whether firefighters who are involved with medical response, what line they will be in order of vaccines. So that obviously is a little concerning to us. I did want to report that we had a fire early on Thanksgiving morning. Outside, actually, it was a grill on wax myrtle. Firefighters did a really quick knockdown and the homeowners were extremely appreciative. Other than that, we did have Santa Claus with the resort ride on the aerial apparatus. One of the stipulations, our insurance said, obviously with COVID, we didn't want any contact, which helped having him on the aerial apparatus, and they didn't want Santa Claus throwing any candy from the truck, not to injure anybody. So, but it turned out well, and we were very happy to be able to provide that in this COVID Christmas year. So, and that's about
that
it.
was great. That was great, Chief. Okay. Thank you. I see the station moving along very quickly. When you can start to see the outline for where the windows are going to go, you know you're making progress.
Right, exactly.
Okay, Chief Abrams for EMS. Is Chief Abrams here? Is anyone here? Oh, he's here. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just muted. He's trying to unmute himself right now.
Okay. Stephanie, is that snow in that picture?
Yeah, it's actually the Red Cedar River at Michigan State University. It runs through the campus.
Oh, okay. It's right. I can't see it that well, but oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Okay.
You may want to move on because Chief.
Oh my God, I am
he's
so
here
sorry.
now. That's all right.
For some reason, everything just on my computer just minimized, and I have no idea what happened. So like everything just went. Wow, it is 2020, is it not? Okay, so, I apologize. A lot of my references just completely just disappeared. But so a couple of things that EMS is doing is we too are noticing a slight uptick in some of our COVID quarantines. And we've had two additional employees in the last couple of weeks who have tested positive. But we really haven't seen a huge influx as reflective of the rest of the country or our neighbors in North Carolina or in Georgia. So hopefully we'll keep those exposures and ailments down to a minimum. One thing that we are looking at doing is moving away from the N95s and going to PAPRs. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those. Those are the big masks that you see a lot of the physicians wearing. You see on the nightly news at night. It's a much better protection. It has a airflow going through it, and we're going to issue those out to all of our employees. We're going to place the order now. So if we do have a huge uptick in COVID, at least our responders will be protected in the back of the ambulance.
Is that like, excuse me, is that like a shield in front of your?
Yes, ma'am. It's literally a contained atmosphere basically. So you'll put a hood on, but you'll create its own airflow.
Okay.
It protects the face, it protects the breathing, and it isolates them from the air. And we're still going to do our normal COVID protocols like mask on the patients, exhaust fans in the ambulances. It's just added protection. So we're getting that done, and we can in they last 5 years, so that's really good.
Very good.
Replaced. On November responses, we had 26 total responses requests back in for the Kiowa area in November. And I don't have all my data here, but I've provided that to Petra. But it looks like about half of them were under 20 minutes. Two of them that were that we had a total of, I think, 6. I think they were over between 30 and 35-minute responses. One thing since November, though, November 18th, is we've moved our supervisor station from Johns Island over to the Kiowa station house at Medic 10. So just since November 18th, we've been able to have 3 less than 10-minute responses just with our paramedic supervisor to the island.
That's great.
Yeah, you'll probably also notice that you may see them driving around and get a good bit more. We've asked for them to kind of go out and kind of be publicly seen in the Kiowa Seabrook area. Also do some area familiarization, some building with our community out there.
Mhm.
So since the 18th, we've also staffed what we call overtime units for the McClellanville, the Kiowa, and the Edisto area. And what we're hoping is that those overtime units that will not be pulled for other calls,
Mhm.
encourage people to fill those slots. And so they're only there for the geographic coverage in our super rural areas. That allows us to basically box in our volume area and more efficiently run the volume without having to deplete from the geography. So we really do get an extra 2 or 3 ambulances a day. That's for day and night. They're 13-hour shifts, so they overlap, allowing for crews to do crew exchange. Since November 18th, the overtime unit over at Kiowa has responded to 3 calls, which has been good. And it looks like that another, I think it's 12 or 13 responses. Yes, 13 responses has just been with our normal units that are throughout the mix, but majority of those came from Medic 10 stations. So even if we don't have a unit at Kiowa, having a unit at Edisto or a unit at McClellanville still gives us more resources to backfill and deploy normally scheduled units out in our rural areas and better cover those areas. So we're continuing to work on better ways to improve our responses to Kiowa area, and looking forward to asking council for some additional funds and personnel so that we can add more resources in general to our EMS system.
Nice progress, Dave. Very
Thanks.
good. Thank you.
Appreciate your partnership with us too on all that.
Great. Okay, Rob, Beach Patrol.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Not much going on the beach at the moment. The weather isn't so much beach weather this time of year, but it's still just trying to get all our ducks in a row for our DHEC certification that's still pending on that application. I do have a couple of things that there are 4 items that we've brought up over the last 2 years that I'd like to kind of put back on the table just to start some discussion for the January meeting and hopefully get some resolution by the start of the season around Easter. The first 2 are ordinance issues. One is adding the requirement to have vehicles that are accessing the beach be 4-wheel drive. So restricting beach vehicles to only 4-wheel drive vehicles. And there's been some discussion of that in the past, and I think we tabled it because it was too close to the start of the season, and we didn't want to put new restrictions on anybody and not have them be able to comply, but right before the season. And so now might be a good time of year to circle back around on that and bring that up again. The second ordinance issue. Did you have a question?
Yes. How many 4-wheel drive do you have now?
No, ma'am. So there's a bunch of different entities that have access to the island and that use vehicles on the beach, and just adding a restriction that says the vehicles that come on the beach have 4-wheel drive. And then the second ordinance issue is trying again to restrict pedestrians from using the emergency vehicle accesses. And I know that Tony's helped us with some of the stuff on the Kika end. And so anyways, I know that there were some concerns there legally about the property being leased and not maybe the town having jurisdiction to do that. So we had kicked that down the road until Mr. Wilson was able to address it. But I don't think I ever brought it up again. And so hopefully we can tackle that. The next 2 issues are just equipment related. The AEDs that we are currently using are from 2005. And so those are not meeting the current guidelines. We've gone through now 3 iterations of guideline updates for CPR. And so those are very much outdated. And so looking at getting those replaced, the other problem is that when we added additional personnel and additional staffing around 2012, it might've been 2013, we didn't add any AEDs. So we've got 5 vehicles on the beach and only 3 AEDs right now. And so in addition to updating the AEDs, so replacing the 3 that we have, getting 2 additional ones. And then finally, along with that, the radios that we have, the 800 megahertz radios, the public safety radios that we carry and use, getting those updated. And I know that was addressed at the Ways and Means Committee meeting earlier this year. And I wasn't able to attend, but from what I've heard and read, it sounds like there was a lot of question and concern about the type of radios and the number of radios that we were requesting. And certainly they come at a very huge expense. But if there's anything that I can do on my end to sort of justify the request and get the update, I'm happy to offer that and grease the wheels. But I don't know that all 4 of these issues need to be addressed. Certainly don't need to be addressed today, but just wanted to put them on the radar for something starting in the new year, hopefully to get resolution by the spring. And if there's some discussion that or questions that I can answer, just in individual meetings with y'all or the town administrator, or the contract managers or whatever, happy to do that. If it's more suited for Ways and Means or council or some other forum, happy to discuss it and address it in whatever venue you see is best. So with that, any questions about anything?
Rob, have you talked to Brian about the radios?
Yes, ma'am. He's been a big advocate for us, and I think he understands the need. And the radios that we have are from 2006, and so it's hard to use communications equipment and medical equipment like AEDs that aren't from this decade. So it would be good to kind of get that updated and addressed. So
Stephanie Tillerson, how did we resolve that at the council meetings?
At the council meeting, the radio costs are put into the budget. The budget's been approved. What was left was that once Brian is ready to purchase, he needs to submit the request through Ways and Means and Council. But the amount to include the 10 radios for Beach Patrol is in the budget and approved, but they have not officially yet. It has not officially yet been in terms of the request, just the dollar amount. So Brian needs to go ahead and at the January Ways and Means, he can put the request through so that it can get approved.
So it sounds like we're moving in the right directions, Rob.
Great. So if there's anything that I can do on my end to help with that or answer any questions, I'm happy to do that. But it sounds like y'all have a good handle on it, and it's underway. So
we're in charge here.
I know it.
We're in control. Hey, Rob, is the emergency vehicle access, does that include the one at the sanctuary?
Yes, ma'am. Is
that still a problem?
All 5 of the emergency vehicle accesses. So there's one at Beach Walker. Beach Walker currently restricts pedestrians themselves. There's one at Eugenia, which I believe is a Kika property that the town leases or has lease rights on. The sanctuary access is obviously the resort. The access at the beach club, I'm not sure if that's Kika or the partners, but I believe it's the partners. And then the final one is the ocean course, and that's also the resort. So so there's probably a couple of ways to resolve it. But I definitely think it's a safety issue, and hopefully we can fix it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Rob? Okay. Tony Elder, do you have a report?
Just one thing to report. First, everyone, happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in case we all don't see each other. You might see construction near the main gate that's continuing. That's going to be our efforts to try to finally install vehicle or truck parking so that when the big vehicles come in, we can pull them off the road and not have them sitting in the right lane that everybody has to try to avoid. We're hoping to have that finished before the end of the year. That was the goal, and hopefully that won't cause any, I don't believe it's going to cause any public safety entrance issues, except for the one I put out about the tree being removed. If anything seems to be doing that, then I'll try to put something out as quick as we can. outside of that, I don't really have anything to report.
Tony, how did the tree removal go?
As smooth as far as I could tell. They dropped it quick, pushed it out of the way, and to my knowledge, we didn't have to use the outbound lanes to turn in emergency vehicles, and I don't believe they had any issues accessing the island.
Good. I know I didn't, it didn't appear like there were any problems. I was just curious because I didn't see it actually take place, but that's good. Okay. That does it for our reports. Next, we'll go to our committee members. Do you have any questions, comments? Starting with Yvonne. Can you bring us up to date on the PGA?
We don't have any meetings scheduled at the moment that are on the books. We probably will the first couple of weeks of January. I would imagine that we will we'll have some meeting dates out. I'll keep everybody posted, but it's been fairly quiet over the holiday season. I did want to take a moment to thank Chief Walls and her team for helping us out with the Santa Christmas parade that we did. It was a great success. There was a lot of happy kids, so thank you for your efforts with that.
That's wonderful. I mean, there's so few things going on right now. I'm sure that was a real treat for a lot of people.
Thank you.
Okay, Bill, do you have anything to report?
Sure, a couple of things. Just want to echo Chief Walls's comments on Station 4. It is a great pleasure to work with this contractor, and the progress, as she said, is ahead of schedule, and we're very pleased with the progress on that station. And then the second item is I want to commend Chief Abrams for stepping up to get spearhead the effort to get the response times reduced for EMS on the island. We really appreciate that. That's all.
Great, thank you. I agree with the EMS updates. Okay, Bonnie McDonald, do you have any questions, comments?
No, I'm all set. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you. And Dwight? Your microphone's on. I think you said he doesn't have anything.
Yeah,
okay.
Nothing here, thank you.
Okay. Julie?
Sorry, I need to run. I have a sprinkler alarm at Freshfields that just went off. So,
all right.
Chief Walls, if you know, I think they're sending the department. So, Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm gonna leave now.
Thank you, Julie.
Julie, thank you.
Okay, did I miss anybody? Stephanie, do you have any report on your communications for the PGA?
No, I just, whenever I have meetings with Yvonne, so she'll be doing the updates. Just want everyone to know that we did have, as I reported at the last meeting, we had one employee that tested positive for COVID. That employee is back to work. She tested negative, and so she was able to come back to work. For the most part, she's fine. She just had maybe 2 days of symptoms, and then the rest was just really a cough. But she's fine. All the employees have tested negative. I'm still doing, which some of you are on the COVID call with Charleston County Emergency Management Team. We have those every other Wednesday. We're having one next Wednesday. And at that time, they're hoping to be able to report the distribution of the vaccine once it's available, I guess, to the general public, or how they're going to schedule that. They may have that as a discussion item next Wednesday. That's all I have to report. Thanks.
No, that's great. I was so happy when I read that they were going to have some vaccines in December. Good news. All right, does anybody else have any questions or comments? Hearing no one, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, a Happy New Year, and goodbye 2020. Thank you for your participation in this committee. It really is valuable. And I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second motion to adjourn.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.